Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake-Up Call podcast. I am Melissa Deely, your host. And this episode is the first episode of 2026. And as such, I am going to review the top 10 episodes of 2025. So happy New Year 2026. And I invite you to celebrate with me as we look back at the top 10 most impactful, inspiring, and transformative episodes of 2025. It was a year of healing, discovery, and empowerment. And thank you for being here. As we look back at 2025, one of the themes that shines through every top episode you love most, you are deeply committed to your health, your healing, and your growth. This year's most popular conversations explored the incredible intelligence of the human body, the transformative power of the unconscious mind, the impact of daily habits, and the cutting-edge modalities helping people heal long before crisis hits. From gut health and oral health to oxygen therapy, universal laws, alcohol rewiring, emotional freedom, muscle testing, and personalized nutrition, these episodes represent the tools, stories, and wisdom that resonated most with you, the listener. They reflect a community that chooses prevention over panic, education over fear, and empowerment over overwhelm. Thank you for choosing to learn, to expand your awareness, and to share these episodes with your loved ones. Knowledge and education are powerful. They save lives, shift generational patterns, and give us options long before we're lying in a hospital bed wishing we'd known sooner. We learn now so we're resourced later. We explore these conversations today so that if life ever calls on us or someone we love, we already know exactly where to turn and who to reach out to. And that was exactly my experience when I went through my cancer journey in 2024. So I invite you to listen to this special episode highlighting your top 10 favorites of 2025, a celebration of wisdom, tools, and healing journeys that made the biggest impact this year. Here's to a healthier, stronger, and even more empowered 2026 together. And if you missed any of these episodes, now's your moment to catch up and reignite your health journey. Because remember, it's always a journey. We need to focus on our health throughout our entire life, not just at one moment in time. So the 10th most popular episode of 2025 is called From Gut Pain to Gut Power, episode number 222 with Dolores Clemens. And she opens up about her powerful journey from chronic gut pain to complete healing after years of diverticulosis and diverticulitis. She took her health into her own hands using nutrition, stress reduction, detoxification, and natural remedies. Why does this matter? Well, she has been pain-free for 3 years and is on a mission to help women take proactive control of their gut health long before their symptoms worsen. The key highlights are how probiotics, prebiotics, and nutrition support gut healing, why mental wellness influences digestion, how lifestyle shifts make the biggest difference, and why women must advocate for their long-term health. Plus, she offers a wonderful free gift of a gut health review, and she produced a book this year, a step-by-step guide for women seeking to improve their gut health. Tell me, in the book, like, is it broken down into themes or chapters? Like, what are the key points that are focused on in the book?
It's chapters. It talks about probiotics, prebiotics. It talks about your diet. It talks about mental wellness and the meditation, and really trying to do all the things that are going to get you on the right path to healing yourself. Because sometimes when people talk about gut health, they think about, it's just about what I eat. What you eat, what you're eating is important, but it's not just that. It's also how much sleep are you getting? Are you meditating? Are you taking care of your mental health? Because when your gut health is off, it can cause hormonal imbalances. It can cause fatigue. It can cause stress. And you just want to really make sure that you're keeping your finger on the pulse of what you're doing in your daily life to make sure you stay on track as far as your diet, exercise, and taking care of your mental health and getting enough sleep. So the way it's broken down, it talks about your diet. It talks about exercise. It talks about the mental health and the things that you need to do to make sure that you're getting the most out of your day and focusing on your health overall.
Our number 9 most popular episode of 2025 is called Rewiring Your Relationship with Alcohol, episode number 208. And in this episode, Sylvia talks about her My Drive 30 app and shares a compassionate, science-backed approach to shifting your relationship with alcohol by working with the unconscious mind, building new neural pathways, and prioritizing true fulfillment over temporary pleasure. Why does it matter? Well, Sylvia helps listeners replace shame with self-compassion and understand how real change happens internally before it ever shows up in our behavior. And the key highlights are how hypnotherapy supports new habits, pleasure versus happiness, and knowing the difference, why the unconscious mind drives addictive patterns, and action steps to start reframing your drinking today. And she offers 20% off her My Drive 30 app for listeners of the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast.
Even though, as we said before, change is very scary, and I feel it every day when I have to make decisions. Sometimes I'm terrified, but you don't have to wait until a new year, a new month, a new week. You can start changing today, little by little, as I said before, but you can start change today. You don't need to keep putting it like, I'll do it next week. I'll do it like typical sentence. On Monday, I start my diet, right? And that culture of just saying that you'll do it later doesn't help you. For me, it's like, you want to do that. You want to do that. You want to create that change. Then start today, little by little, but start today.
I love that. I always say the best time to start is today.
Yeah.
And in fact, the best time to start was yesterday. And since you didn't start yesterday, let's get started today. Our number 8 most popular episode of 2025 is The Power of Muscle Testing in Your Healing Journey, episode number 213. In this episode, Sean shares how muscle testing helped him overcome debilitating anxiety and led him into a career teaching others how to access their body's innate intelligence. Why does this matter? Well, muscle testing is a simple yet powerful tool to uncover hidden stressors, food sensitivities, and emotional blocks, giving you a direct line of communication with your own body. And key highlights are he talks about how muscle testing works, its roots in holistic healthcare, identifying foods, supplements, and stress triggers, and how mind-body awareness accelerates healing. And Sean offers for you to get on his newsletter list to learn more and potentially sign up for one of his courses to teach you how to have this as a tool for yourself that lasts a lifetime.
But that's one of the beauties of muscle testing is, when you're using it in a systematic way, one of the things that differentiates this and one of the things that makes this such a valuable tool is the fact that you can prioritize, you can pretty much have this dialogue with the body and kind of get a priority of what the body needs in the moment, right? Because of course we can argue for people to take any supplement that's out there. I mean, these are all good things. I mean, zinc is a wonderful thing. B12 is a wonderful thing. Vitamin D is a wonderful thing. Does it mean you need to be taking all of them all of the time? No. And with muscle testing, we realize no, it's not that you need to be taking all of these things all of the time. There's a time and place for everything.
And the 7th most popular episode of 2025 is called Getting Off the Merry-Go-Round. It's episode number 210. And my good friend Jan Jansen, who wrote a book of the same title, reveals how to break free from lifelong patterns, stop repeating the same cycles, and take decisive action towards a more empowered life. Get off the merry-go-round, in other words. Why does it matter? Well, whether it's relationships, money, or purpose, your patterns tell the truth. And this episode helps you recognize them, release them, and rebuild from a place of clarity. Key highlights are spotlighting the beliefs you have that are keeping you stuck, how to trust your intuition for big decisions, why action and not just wishing creates your future, and mindset shifts around fulfillment and abundance. And as a resource, Jan has offered that you can download her book, which also supports my nonprofit, Girls Matter. So it's a win-win.
Well, when you think of a literal merry-go-round, and I think for the generation that normally is attracted to me, they remember merry-go-rounds. Today, kids probably maybe don't, but for the most part, they remember that merry-go-round where you get on. And once you're on, unless it stops or you're willing to jump off and or possibly have a fall, you're stuck. You are on that merry-go-round until it stops. And that is people's lives. They are on this merry-go-round of debt, of this, of that, of a relationship they don't want to be in a job they don't want to be in a house they don't want to be in a country they don't even want to be in. And yet they're on that merry-go-round and they feel stuck. And that's really where the book helps you to see the reasons that you're there, because it couldn't be anything from your genetic coding to past lives to all kinds of things. And then how to release that. So it really is about saying, okay, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore.
The number 6 most popular episode of 2025 is How Oral Health Impacts Your Whole Body, episode 206. Again, another great friend of mine, Cherie Wirtz, sheds light on the profound mouth-body connection and shares her owner's framework: oxygen, water, nutrition, enough sleep, and respect. In order to create full body wellness, starting with oral health. When was the last time you thought about the fact that your oral health had any impact on the rest of your body? Well, it does, because your mouth reflects your entire internal world. From sleep and hormones to gut health and childhood development, this episode shows how early signs appear in the mouth. Some of the key highlights are nasal versus mouth breathing and its impact on your health, myofunctional therapy and tongue tie awareness. And the sooner you're aware of that in young children, the more you can do to support them. Oral development in children overall, and why mindset and self-awareness accelerate healing. And Cherie offers a wonderful gift of 5 steps to being the owner of your health.
For me, it means listen to your instincts. I waited for the wake-up call, right? I waited until I had those symptoms, and I did have warning signs, and I ignored them. So I waited until the symptoms were so much that I couldn't ignore them anymore. So that was my wake-up call, and that's what don't wait for the wake-up call means to me. Don't wait until you have those symptoms. Do something about it. Get tested early. Listen to your instincts. They're there for a reason. Don't ignore them.
And your instincts will never lead you astray.
Never.
Never lead you astray. That takes us to our fifth most popular episode of 2025. What does your unconscious mind do for you anyway? Episode number 205. This is an episode that I did myself as a teaching episode because, of course, you know that I love teaching about the unconscious mind, and I take a deep dive into the 20 essential functions of your unconscious mind, from preserving your body to storing memories to generating habits and behaviors. And quite frankly, after learning about the unconscious mind, I truly believe that it deserves a lot more respect than we give it. Why does this matter? Because all learning, all behavior, and all change happens at the unconscious level. When you understand how your inner mind works, you can finally create real transformation. Some of the key highlights are how childhood programming shapes our adult behavior. Is your inner 5-year-old still running your life? Tools to release stuck emotions, why avoiding negative language matters, the benefits of gratitude journaling as a reprogramming tool, and how to align all parts of yourself for more choice. The unconscious mind is also programmed to continually seek more and more. It always wants to learn. And that's why in this lifetime, we jokingly say at Amplify Impact Academy that you never want to stop learning, because you're either growing and learning or you're dying and dead. And we don't want that. So keep learning. And your unconscious mind will direct you on the path as to what is next for you in terms of your learning. When you tap into that intuition and that guidance, it's all within you. Because remember, the resources are all in the higher self, and the unconscious mind can connect to that. So never stop learning. There is always more to discover, and no one of us can ever know everything. You just don't get to be done. Keep learning. Be curious. It's a wonderful place to live your life from. That takes us to episode number 4, called Don't Take Your Bones for Granted. And it is episode number 203, and I should say the 4th most popular in 2025. And Susan Brady breaks down her bones framework: balanced nutrition, optimal digestion, nurture yourself, exercise, and smart supplementation. And she explains how to naturally strengthen and protect your bones for life using this framework. And why does it matter? Well, bone loss begins far earlier than most people realize. Susan reveals how gut health, movement, and lifestyle choices directly impact bone density and long-term resilience. Some of the key highlights are how digestion affects nutrient absorption, the gut-bone connection, why teenage years are crucial for bone formation, the best types of exercise for bone strength, and how to protect your bones before fractures occur.
To me, is as a bone expert, it means don't wait till you fracture a bone to start taking care of your bones. And as we talked about, your bones may be hidden deep within, and we all know that saying, out of sight, out of mind, but they are the foundation of your body's strength and stability. And if you don't care for them, they will weaken over time. But the good news is that by nurturing your bones, not only are you going to strengthen them, but it's going to benefit your entire well-being. So by investing in your bone health now, you won't have that wake-up call of a fracture later in life. And you'll also be creating a healthier, more vibrant version of yourself from the inside out.
Our number 3 most popular episode of 2025 is called The Universal Laws Decoded: Real Tools for Real Results. It was episode number 238. And in this episode, Monica Ion unpacks the 7 universal laws that she teaches worldwide, showing how mastering these principles creates predictable transformation in every area of your life. When you understand universal law, symptoms become signals, chaos becomes clarity, and life starts making sense. Some of the key highlights are that duality is a tool for healing, how our inner order shapes our outer reality, why emotional triggers are reflections, and how to apply universal laws to money, business, and relationships. And as a resource, Monica's new book, the 7 universal laws is available to you.
My understanding of how life works is that everything happens for you. So it doesn't happen to you. And it has a deep meaning, which is very personal. When one discovers that personal meaning, that deep meaning of any traumatic event, they are not only free, but they gain back their energy, which was trapped in that traumatic event. So regardless what happens in the present, it has a root cause somewhere back, usually in the past, in the childhood. And because everything is a fractal and everything is a pattern, it means that if we shift one element, the whole image will shift. So we go back to that root cause. And what I did is that I designed different type of processes that take you to a guaranteed result. It's not an intuitive, it's rather a mathematical type of process, which acts on the root cause for every issue I'm facing with the client or the client is facing. So these processes are based on the universal laws. I'm not using all the time because I like to be efficient. And, you're a hypnotherapist, you know what's the most efficient way to get to a certain result. It's out of your experience. And also, you know all the elements, how to organize them. So you bring the client to a certain result. It's the same thing. But what the elements I'm operating with is these 7 universal laws. So I arrange them in a specific order. So it guarantees results for the client.
Episode number 204 is the second most popular episode of 2025, Bio-individuality and Beyond with Tess Masters. Tess Masters, aka the Blender Girl, shares her 6-step smoothie method, her detox and nutrition programs, and her joyful, delicious approach to fueling your body every day. Why does it matter? Well, your body is unique, and your nutrition should be too. Tess shows how simple blended meals can transform your energy, gut, health, and overall vitality. She talks about how to build the perfect smoothie, why blended soups, sauces, and dressings boost nutrition. Inside the Decadent Detox and Skinny 60 programs, that are 2 offerings that Tess has, she gives you the inside scoop. And how to reset hormones and support lifelong health. And she's generously given a free cookbook download with this episode.
There is a huge difference between healthy eating and strategic eating. So you can be eating all the healthy foods in the world and off the healthy food lists, but if it's not what's appropriate for your needs at this time, it's not strategic. And so we really teach people about strategic eating and that we want to be mindful of our bio-individuality and our uniqueness. And that it's not a one-stop shop and a one-size-fits-all approach. There is no blanket way of moving through the world that works for absolutely everybody. Yes, there are basic nutrition principles, as we've talked about, better gut health, better blood sugar, sleep, managing stress, all that sort of stuff. But in and around those basic parameters, it's a whole delicious world of opportunity and options, right? And so that's why our programs happen live, so that we can really get in there with you and help you find those solutions.
And drum roll, please. Supercharge Your Healing with Oxygen is our top episode of 2025, episode number 217. And in this episode, Brad reveals how exercise with oxygen therapy, otherwise known as EWOT, is revolutionizing health, boosting energy, reducing inflammation, and restoring vitality in just 15 minutes. Why does it matter? Because low oxygen is linked to aging, disease, and chronic inflammation. EWOT is now accessible, affordable, and incredibly powerful for healing at home. And some of the key highlights are that just 15 minutes of EWOT equals 90 minutes in a hyperbaric chamber. Oxygen is the foundation of our cellular health, and how EWOT boosts detox and recovery and regeneration. And Brad also shares his personal healing journey and mission.
What happens in your body every year past the age of 25, our body loses about 1% of its ability to utilize oxygen. which doesn't mean anything when you're 27 and not a whole lot when you're 30. But when you're getting to be 45 and then 65 and certainly 85, it's a big difference. And that's part of the reason why as we age, we notice we have less energy, our body hurts more, it's not repairing as quickly. All of this is due to the lack of oxygen. So our body burns glucose to create APT, which is the energy source. And there's two ways it does it. When it has enough oxygen, it uses aerobic respiration. And when you take a molecule of glucose and you turn it into ATP using oxygen through aerobic respiration, you produce 36 units of APT. Now, when it runs out of oxygen, what it does is it produces energy through anaerobic respiration, and that produces about 2 molecules of APT. So like 6% of the energy. So you can imagine a cell that's being starved of oxygen. All of a sudden, its energy source went from 100% down to 6%. And so immediately that cell goes into this kind of survival mode, and it has to turn off non-essential functions, And many of those are things like taking out the trash. Now, what I mean by that is when you're using anaerobic respiration, you're also producing a lot more metabolic waste. You produce something called lactic acid. We've all heard about. That's what makes your muscles sore when you exercise. That's because those muscles have gone anaerobic. They couldn't get enough oxygen. And so that lactic acid, it takes oxygen to remove it from the body and break it down. And because you don't have enough oxygen, it just lets it build up inside the cell walls. So now the cell walls become essentially a dumping ground of toxic waste products. That acid makes the cells misperform. They're lower energy. So they're dealing with all of these insults. And so obviously, if you can restore energy back to those cells and turn them back to aerobic respiration, you can help detoxify your body better, and you can help each one of the cells work better.
So there you have it, the top 10 most popular episodes of 2025. If you missed them, go back and listen to them. I want to thank all of those brilliant guests that I had come on the show for sharing your expertise and providing to the listeners so many resources that we now have at our fingertips to use as needed in our own life and share with our loved ones. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to all of my listeners for making 2025 such a wonderful year. I look forward to bringing you more wonderful content throughout 2026. And please share this recap episode with somebody who's never heard of the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. It's a great way to introduce them to the opportunity to build their knowledge around their lifelong health journey. I am pleased to share with you a new training called Karma Code Timeline Therapy Practitioner Certification. This training is a powerful 3-day live on Zoom session teaching you how to help others in clearing all of their stuffed down emotion of anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, rage, and shame, without them having to talk about any of the situations that ever caused the root of that anger, and release it from the cells in their body and have them feeling light. And also to release all of the BS stories running around in our head of being unlovable, unworthy, not good enough, powerless, etc., etc. And get rid of all of that chatter and allow them to have peace and quiet in their head. This training is transformational for your clients and for you, because during the training, you get to experience it both as a practitioner and a client and release all of that garbage for yourself and clear out your emotional body, your mental body, and keep them clear so that all of that stuffed down emotion isn't causing dis-ease later in your life. Check out the show notes for the link. Our first training is happening in 2026.